tried to bring back the same crew because part one, I felt that they were brother and sisters in arms. These people were responsible for the success of part one. I felt that it was a strength that I had began for part two.
They're all made here in the factory. Along with all of this, all the still suits are individually bespoke for all the players.
Jacqueline is a poet of costumes. There's always a meaning in every one of her designs.
Denis really wanted to create worlds that we hadn't seen before. Yes, we saw Gedi Prime and the planet of Arrakis, but it's expanded way beyond what we saw in part one. And we had to create so many more costumes and so many more genres. But you take one at a time and create that. And then I'd line everything up and would bring Denis in, and he would pick his favorite bodies, his favorite looks, or I love that jacket, Jacqueline, and I love that headdress.
That I love. It's more about shapes. So we will please no continuity with what I've done before. I want them to be different people.
Sure.
We would create a whole world and then start making it. I started talking early on to Denis about the siege, because so much of this takes place within the northern Fremen world. And then it goes to the south, and how to designate the two color palettes and different materials. Then within the siege, there's worlds, the water masters, the elders, the siege nuns. It's so massive.
Based on the successful experimental thesis of the first movie, she got to just expound.
She's all about the detail. Forget about the big things. It's about this thing and she loves so much her work. So when you wear something of hers, you see in her face so excited that you are wearing that your character is wearing that. She worked hard in order to design that for that person.
The time it takes to make something like this, I can't imagine. I step on set, I have this incredible costume that already changes your physicality. That does, half the job, and then I just gotta figure out how to speak in Chicopsa.
It was really fun designing her siege wardrobe. These fabulous kind of natural fiber, caftan-inspired fashion. And she has some beautiful raw linen, raw silk, hand-woven siege fashion.
So we're just finishing off the siege prints from the first siege that we visited. And we're about to go into printing for the southern siege.
This color palette, it's darker, less that beige sand color you saw in the north. The southern Reverend Mothers, and when Lady Jessica moves on the back of the worm and the pelican to the south, this is the world that they're moving into. Prints change. It's a little bit bolder and a little bit darker, more mysterious.
And there's more sort of camouflage element. The idea that we're going to blend into the background and not be seen.
Right.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. And we put a veil on top of her, and that's it. Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
And in terms of the political and the religious beliefs, which is a central theme in the film, I think costumes told a lot of that story. Lady Jessica's costumes are very ceremonial, very ornate. And I think that tells a story of how in the South, the religion is that much more important than it is in the North.
Rebecca's so great with costumes. Some of the outfits are quite heavy, like the Reverend Mother, heavy, and she wears it so beautifully. And her character has a real arc in this, from being more the brave mother on a journey to becoming a Reverend Mother. It's quite a transition, and her wardrobe had to inform that all the way along.
I know that the audience sees it but a fleet of their eye, but the time, the detail, the research put into it, little homages, little nods, it's exquisite.
The siege jewelry is interesting because the Fremen loved silver and copper. Silver was for virility among the Fremen and copper for health.
What what he's going to do is bring them all into those jewels.
They can have a grand in.
Yes.
Oh, good. Good to see them nice even traipsed down.
I think my favorite, I guess it's a tie between the Reverend Mothers from the South in all of their ornate wardrobe and Fade's battle wear. It feels wholly original and unique and stunningly beautiful.
We had to create all new costumes for the whole Harkonnen world. We hadn't seen the slave master, we had jail masters, the picadors, the attendants. I had this wonderful duo in David Bethel and Joe Husengian, incredible sculptors and effects costume makers, and they were in our shop the whole time working on Faith's costume. It had to be much more streamlined. He has to be the kind of rock star of the film. The collaboration came when he put it on and started moving, and he's quite graceful. He moves like a dancer. And we adjusted the costume accordingly.
Jackie's amazing. She makes it look so easy. As soon as I tried on the armor for the first time of the arena fight, it makes you walk differently. It changes the way you breathe, and it helps me a lot.
She is a Bene Gesserit and trained as Bene Gesserit, but she's royal. I wanted to keep her head mainly covered because the Bene Gesserits were based on medieval nuns. We felt it was in keeping with her training to have her head covered, but it had to be much more ornate. We hired a magnificent beater here in Budapest who hand beaded all of those headdresses. It was quite an undertaking.
I love what it does in the shadow and the light.
Yeah,
the shadow area reflects all this.
The diagonal made all the difference as well, so you could actually see what's going on.
And then the armor in the last scene was really based on medieval armor because she is there as a warrior princess to take the winning warrior.
How does it feel?
It's getting a bit heavy. Yeah, you know, wearing chain does that.
Muad'Dib is alive. I must find him.
My inspiration for him was Japanese and Middle Eastern. From the beginning, I used this wonderful statue of the great Khan sitting in a throne to inspire me. There was a simplicity about it that I felt he should have.
Muad'Dib.
Jackie, I think she outdid herself. They just stay with you. I think there's something very primal as well about what she does that feels natural, but yet it's from the future.
It's not like character development in a classic novel where you live with the people for days as they change. In a film, the audience needs a very quick take. I have always said I try to dress people from the inside out, reveal those inner riches.